another Mission Shakeup. I'm Rebecca Lindhout, your adult ministries consultant, and I'm so excited to be with you today. October has so many fun things ahead. I know that if you have kids, you're looking forward to a little trick or treating, but I have some treats here for you today as well. And so I'm going to just start us off by reminding you that our My Mission regional gathering is going to be October the 9th. That's this Saturday. From 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock at Lawndale Baptist Church in Greensboro. This is a free event. You can just go, just show up. We're going to have missionary testimonies. We're going to have a missions project. We're going to hear about human trafficking and how we can help with the refugee situation in North Carolina and really across America. And we're going to hear a little bit about Worldcraft. So we are excited for you to join us for this. We're going to have a free Chick-fil-A catered lunch. So please come and just be a part of this. We're hoping to have more regional gatherings in the future. But Lawndale has been nice enough to host us for this first one, and we are going to just have a ball. The second treat that I have for you today is a reminder about Mom Camp. This is a retreat just for moms. We thought, what better way to kick off our missions and motherhood ministry than with a retreat just for moms? We're calling it Mom Camp because we're talking about how Deborah led the Israelites like a mother in Israel and how we can lead our children like a mother in missions in our own homes. So we're going to have wonderful worship by Tracy West. We're going to have some wonderful mother speakers, women who are all mothers in different ages and stages of life. We're going to have breakout groups to talk to you about lots of different things. We're going to have ones on raising your children to be in faith and missionally with Miss Amy Boone, our executive director here. She's going to talk about how all children are different in faith development and how to reach out to your child for Christ. We're going to have Cheryl Daniel leading a workshop on journaling, Bible journaling, and also on legacy journaling, how you can leave a Bible for your children or give a Bible to your children for those special occasions that you've put your special notes in just for them. So we'll have that. We'll have a breakout on rest and why it is biblical, spiritual, needed, and just important in the lives of a mother so that we can refill others. And there is such a special talk by Amanda Martinson here on our staff. She did a year-long deep dive into rest, and she has so much to tell us and show us about rest for that weekend. And then I'll be leading a breakout session on scripture meditation, and we'll be using some various forms of art to walk through that together and how we can use art as a way to deepen our walk with Christ. So we are so excited for that. We're going to have crafts. We're going to have pampering for you. We're going to have wonderful meals. We're going to have s'mores by the campfire and just awesome worship. So we invite you. This is going to be on November 12th, 13th, and 14th. So you can sign up at wmunc.org, and we are excited. And how many times have I said excited? Like 19. But anyway, but that's what we are. And we hope that you will sign up today. All right. So this month, my video is taking place in a little different setting, and that is because we are talking about South Africa. And South Africa is a place that's really dear to my heart because my husband is from there. My husband is Dutch South African, and he grew up under apartheid and has really some stories that I would love for you to be able to hear. But it was such a foundational thing for him to grow up under apartheid, and then after apartheid was over, to see kind of like the veil that was lifted on what the Black and Indian South Africans went through during that time. When I first met Gavin, it was because I was going on a mission trip to South Africa, and we were still studying the role of the church in apartheid. And apartheid, if you don't know, was a symbol, but it was also the system of segregation in South Africa that started around 58 and continued on through the 90s. And it was not just a segregation of schools or churches, it was a segregation of neighborhoods, it was a segregation of communities, and just families even. So I went to study why the church, what the church's role was in that, and why the church didn't have more of a role in it, and really how Archbishop Desmond Tutu became the forerunner and the mouthpiece for the end of apartheid within the church. And so I think that it is really important that we talk about these things when we talk about South Africa. I'm going to be putting up a clip for you of Nelson Mandela talking to folks. I think it was a political rally, I'm sure, on our website. I also have a quote by him on our website about how children are not born hating others. Hate has to be taught, or hate has to be learned, and also the opposite can be learned. And I think that has a real powerful message for us today, because it feels like there's so much hate out in our world. And the only thing that can overcome hate is love of Christ and love for our neighbor. And so I think that some of the lessons that South Africa has learned and is still learning and can teach us a lot about how to love our neighbor today. So I'm going to have a couple of videos up for you, and a couple of quotes up there for you as well. I also am videoing from my office here today. Let's see if I can show you that. I have up my African tenants. It's very bad videoing, but you can see. Those come out of our African Perspectives collection, put out by WMU. I've talked about it on other videos, so hopefully you have that. But those pennants are in your box. There's also some games from South Africa and other African countries in here, and some art ideas in the booklet. We also have in your Missions Mosaic this month, they have some really good ideas. I didn't have to add a whole lot. And so they have a recipe called baboti and an African necklace that you can make. Now, if you're looking at my hands, that's not dirt. That is colors. Because last night I just led a children's mission group, and we talked about one of the things that was special about South Africa is that there are 11 different languages spoken in South Africa. Just about everybody speaks English, but 11 different dialects that come from different tribal groups and just different regions. And so one of the things that happened after apartheid was they had to bring a whole country of people together, people of different races, tribes, even those who considered their tribe a separate nation, really. And churches had to come back together after some of our churches or their churches helped to keep apartheid in place. Sometimes by action and sometimes by inaction. And so there was a healing that needed to take place. And Archbishop Desmond Tutu was part of that healing. And one of the ways that he began to bring the country together is by saying that it was no longer a black or white or brown country, that they were a rainbow nation. And so that's why my hands are covered in lots of different colors. And you can see I stained them up pretty good, because last night I taught this to children and we tie-dyed rainbow tie-dye t-shirts. So there's an idea for you this month is to tie-dye a t-shirt. Another idea that I will strongly suggest to you is have a cookout. You can have your meeting outside. It's fall. It's starting to be a little cooler, or you could cook it ahead of time. But one of the things that South Africans love to do is bring and braai. Bring and braai. And that is, a braai is a cookout, and a bring is you bring your own meat for it, and everybody just kind of contributes and brings something, and they have a cookout. And so the braai is a really foundational part of the identity of South Africa. So have a bring-in bra, or you just have a bra for your ladies. I also have another goodie for you this month. Here, if you have an Aldi nearby, they actually have a South African treat at Aldi, and that is biltong. So you can see it. They have original and teriyaki. And last night I had shared the teriyaki with the kids, and even the toddlers liked it. Biltong is like a beef jerky, but it's a little drier, and not the oiliness of a beef jerky. And even the kids that were 4 and 5 year olds loved this and asked for seconds. So that is available at Aldi, and again, that is beef biltong. So if you don't have a bra, have a biltong. Have some biltong. Now, remind them that in South Africa, they would have beef biltong, but they would also have biltong from an animal called kudu. They would have emu biltong, and even elephant biltong at times. So that is a real treat. That was just a fluke that they have it at Aldi this month. So I think God just knew we needed some missions food. So I invite you to check that out. Also this month I wanted to give you, they have some South African facts, but I also have a little activity for you to try. This is called, and it's not just South African, but the game spotting is a huge thing in South Africa. That was the first thing that my husband at the time, my fiance, took me to do with his best friends. We went to Kruger National Park and went game spotting, and it is such a national pastime that there is even a term for people who have been doing it for a weekend or even a week, that they get spotter's eye. And it's like your eyes get bloodshot from just being open and looking, and at such a intense rate on your vacation, you can get spotter's eye. So I have this little animal worksheet for you, and it's called Strange Groupings. And you can use some of these or all of these, but it is the names for groupings of animals that you might find really interesting. And I think some of them are very fitting for the animal that they are, but you might not ever guess them. So for alligators, it's a congregation of alligators. For cats, it is a nuisance of cats. There are also a glorying or a glare of cats. If you ever see a group of cats, have you ever had stray cats that you started to feed and they would come up and you would feel that glare of cats? A murder of crows, and one that's great for October is a cauldron of bats and an unkindness of ravens. I mean, you could just take these and pick out the ones that are just great for October, like that. How about a crash of rhinos? Don't you just hear that? Can't you see and hear that? I think that is so cool. And then coming up for November, a posse of turkeys. Did you know that? A posse of turkeys. I love that. But that's just a fun opening activity that you can do with your group. So there, you could also do the food that they talk about in our video today. Our video is about some missionaries that live in Durban. They're called the Ingesdaal family, in case you have a little hard time pronouncing that, because it doesn't look like how it sounds. It's the Ingesdaal family, and they're in Durban. And Durban's on the Indian Ocean. Did you know that South Africa at Cape Lookout is the point where the Indian and the Atlantic Ocean meet? I've been there. It's a beautiful place. And there is also, let's see, where is it? There's baboons all over there, and there's a term for the baboons as well. I think it might be gang of baboons. Well, I don't need it. I don't see it. But it is a troop or barrel of monkeys, and there were monkeys. In fact, the monkeys and baboons work together to steal people's food. And my in-laws often complain because if they leave their windows or doors open in the spring to get fresh air, monkeys come in and steal their fruit. So that's a fun thing. But the Ingstalls, one of the interesting things about their story that you'll read in your Missions Mosaic magazine is that they lived in South Africa. They felt God calling them to the people in the Democratic Republic of Congo and felt that God was calling them there. But before they could go, Miss Ingstall had a health crisis, and they had to go to Durban for her to be hospitalized and to recover from this crisis. And they were not going to be able to go to the Congo. And so once they had moved to Durban to take care of her health needs, they looked around to see how they could minister where they were. And guess what? There was a huge number of refugees from the Congo, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, right there in Durban. So that's where they picked up their ministry. They looked around for the people that God had called them to. They looked around for the need and realized that during this time of quarantine and COVID, people were in desperate need of food. So they began having food trucked in. And they said God has been along with them every step of the way, because it would have been really common for a truckload of food to be broken into or attacked or stolen while in Durban. And in fact, that God had cleared the way for that food to be distributed, from everything from the gate being just tall enough for the food truck to come in, to the fact that when they unloaded the food and separated it onto other trucks to go into regional areas, that those trucks weren't attacked either, that God's hand of provision has been upon them, and it gives them a boldness and a courage. And even though they themselves have at times been attacked, God has brought them through every situation. And so they also looked around to see what were the needs of the refugees and other people. And there was real need for the English language. And so Miss Ingstall was able to teach English as a second language to a group of refugees from the Congo. And many of them are Muslim. And she was saying that one of the ladies that she taught had been a teacher of Islam for children within her community. And so when she learned about Jesus through English as a second language, she became a Christian. And then she said, I devoted my life to teaching children about the Quran. Should I not teach children about Jesus? And so of course Miss Ingstall told them, go teach, go share the message of Jesus. And so they have so many other stories about that, how they just meet Jesus on the street, meet people with Jesus on the street. And I guess they do meet Jesus in the faces of these people who are going through struggles. But we're going to turn on the video right now and let you see the children's video. It's a short, quick one, just so you can see these people and hear these people, because it's so important to hear our missionaries as well. And then we'll jump right back in.
Hi there, we are David and Julie Ingstall, and we want to say welcome to our home here in the beautiful city of Durban in the country of South Africa. If you take your finger and put it on the map of Africa and run it all the way to the bottom, you'll find our country, and it's right here on this beautiful Indian Ocean.
And as our people from the central part of Africa, the refugees, they say Karibu, welcome.
Are there lions, zebras, and giraffes everywhere you go?
What do most people wear in South Africa?
Do you live in a straw hut?
What is the strangest thing you've ever eaten in South Africa?
The food that you find here in the city on the streets to buy is not anything like the food that you would find in America. And some of the strange things are bunny chow, which is half a loaf of bread that's been carved out and put chicken gravy inside, with the bread that was carved out put right on top, like the backside of a bunny tail. And then there's a really strange thing called walkie-talkies, which are fried chicken heads and fried chicken feet. Walkie-talkies.
Tell us about your ministry.
What do we love about being a missionary? We love the people that we find that have come from the countries of Africa. They've come down what they call the refugee highway. And we get to meet them, we get to know their culture, and we get to tell them about Jesus. Because many of them don't hear about Jesus in the countries where they come from. There may be closed countries where they're not allowed to hear about Jesus. So they come down here and we get a chance to do that for them. And
so we enjoy watching them grow in their faith, and then a great hope we have is that someday if their country becomes safe again and they go back home, they'll take that same refugee highway back home and take with them the good news of Jesus Christ to their own people in their own country and become missionaries.
All right, so just a quick correction. That's 1948 that apartheid started in South Africa. Also, I just wanted to mention a few of the prayer requests, and one of those is that we would pray for the 130 refugee families in South Africa because they are really facing xenophobia. Anywhere there's refugees who come, especially in times of crisis, and often they come illegally because they are just running for their lives. There can be xenophobia. There can be this fear of unknown people and what they'll do. And often in South Africa, they get accused of crimes that they don't do. And people often, sometimes there's even people who commit crimes around refugee communities so that the refugees will be blamed instead of them. It's kind of a whipping boy situation for refugees in South Africa, and they are blamed for taking jobs and for bringing communities down, and so there is a lot of fear amongst the people there. So we want to pray for those in South Africa, but also refugees around the world, because to tell you the truth, there is not a place in this world that refugees are truly welcomed. The only welcoming place that they find is in the communities that are established by missionaries, which are just the bringing together of people where they already are and the sharing of the good news to them. So there are very few places in this world a refugee can go and be welcomed, because often refugees only come with the clothing on their back and just such a few things, and so they're seen as bringing problems instead of lifting up the country that they're traveling to. So our hearts should break for the refugees. I think that America is a place that's born of just the intermingling and the coming together of people from many different places. And what better place for any refugee, immigrant, or traveler than America. And so we want to pray for them. We want to pray for people to witness to them. We want to pray for the businesses that the Youngstalls have been able to help provide sewing machines and supplies for amongst the refugees in South Africa. And we just want to also pray for the children there. One of the other ministries that the Youngstalls have is that they help collect money to pay for the school fees of children, because in South Africa, if you can't pay for school, you can't go to school. And so pray for them. And then it might seem like a small issue, but it's a pretty big one that I saw in the schools of South Africa when I traveled there, is they don't have a school lunch program. So there are lots of hungry children in schools in South Africa. And so pray for that the children who are refugee children would have enough food to bring lunch to school. So those are just a few things to talk about today with your group in South Africa. About South Africa, don't forget again about Mom Camp, this retreat just for moms. You can see all of our materials and our registration page on WMU.org. You'll have your strange groupings on our adult ministries page there with under Missions Shakeup. And yeah, I think that about does it. So I hope that you have an awesome time sharing about South Africa. If you need any more resources, check out our pages or give me a call at WMU, and we'll see you next month. Bye.